We'll move on to our next speaker, Elizabeth McKone. She will be presenting on the impact of the role identification badge placards on radiation oncology personnel job satisfaction and well-being.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity to present today. Switching gears a little bit, I'll present this study on behalf of my co-authors here. My disclosures here, no conflicts of interest. I'm a current PGY3 resident at Mayo Clinic. So a little bit of background, some of you, depending on what institution you're coming from, may have seen these badges before, but they arose out of intention to address workplace role misidentifications, which is commonly experienced by physicians in the workplace. This disproportionately affects those underrepresented in medicine, as well as female physicians, and can be when staff mistake those for not being physicians when they are, or when patients don't recognize their doctors as such. It can have negative impacts on well-being and contribute to burnout. There is a thought that this potentially affects residents as well, more commonly than staff. So many studies that led to the implementation of these badges were in resident physicians in large programs like internal medicine, surgical subspecialties with inpatient and outpatient presences at hospitals like Mass General, as well as the Mayo Clinic. Overall, these have shown positive effects on decreasing the frequency of role misidentification, reducing burnout, as well as increasing physician well-being. So following all of these studies, they were mandated at our institution for resident physicians across all programs and made optional for other physician staff, as well as some other clinical roles. So in thinking about how this might impact our department, radiation oncology, we have a unique multidisciplinary team in our department, both with patient-facing roles that aren't found in other parts of the hospital, as well as non-clinical, more behind-the-scenes roles that help promote patient flow through the department. And we wondered whether these badges could have potential unforeseen negative consequences on our residents' well-being, as well as impact the department interprofessional team dynamics and culture in ways that had not been previously detected or seen on these studies. So this is a highlighted slide from the Mayo Clinic QI project. So just to highlight some of the potential negative consequences that could arise out of this study. This is a sort of summary table they included when they looked at the comments received on their study. They had a number of respondents who received ridicule while they were wearing these badges, mostly from other staff. Some felt that these badges led to the emphasis of microaggressions related to race, gender, or other non-specific bias. Others pointed out that maybe these badges were more recognized by staff than patients, which seemed a little bit contrary to what they were intended for. And others felt that maybe this emphasized unnecessarily hierarchy in medicine that potentially should not be thought about as much anymore. So this is just one comment that I think spoke a lot to our department in devising our study, pointing out that a wearer of the badge on the Mayo Clinic study received negative comments from allied health staff who were not also able to wear these badges, making jokes and facetious remarks that made the wearer less interested in wearing the badge. So we devised an IRB-approved survey to assess the impact of the badges as they were rolled out within our department. All of our staff in the department, physicians as well as non-physicians, were invited for anonymous participation. The surveys were distributed 3 weeks before and 3 months after badges were rolled out in the department, and no other badges besides the doctor-specific role badges were available during the time of study. So here's a screenshot of what our survey looked like. It was designed to be completed in a minute or less and mobile compatible using the Qualtrics platform. So we started out by asking participants to define their job role in the department. We had them generate unique identifier codes that were used to anonymously link pre and post survey responses. And then we had a number of questions asking about whether participants felt their role in the workplace was clearly identified, whether they had previously been misidentified by patients or coworkers or both, whether they felt like being identified in their role affected their quality of life or quality of work, and whether they thought there would be a positive impact of rolling out these badges for all roles in the workplace or just physicians. And they were with 5-point Likert scale, multiple choice. We also had option for comments to be included as well. So we analyzed these responses by using those unique codes to pair pre and post responses, and we also sorted responses by job role. We use exploratory statistical analysis for the Likert style questions across time and role with no adjustment for multiplicity, meaning we couldn't account for whether a single participant may have submitted answers twice since they were anonymous. For paired responses, we defined a change in pre and post surveys by a shift of at least 2 Likert points. And then free text comments were analyzed using natural language processing methods. So this was submitted as a work in progress. So I'll present to you preliminary results that we have thus far. So we received 326 responses with 78 that were able to be paired pre and post. We know that at least 6 resident and 4 staff physicians, so 10 of 50 physicians in our department wore badges during the time of study. We sorted them into clinical and non-clinical roles as listed here, and we had slightly more clinical responses than non-clinical responses. So in general, summarizing the results of all staff looking at the unpaired responses, so the 326 received in total, it seems that all of our staff, regardless of role, agreed that their roles were clearly identified within the department, so amongst other staff members. However, the majority also somewhat agreed that their role had been misidentified before by patients. This was significantly more likely to affect clinical than non-clinical staff, and specifically nurses, advanced practice providers, and physicians agreed that appropriate workplace identification positively impacted their quality of life and/or quality of work in the department. Respondents to all surveys, with the exception of physicists who remain neutral, agreed that these badges and positive identification of their roles would have a positive impact on their work. So in conclusion, appropriate job role identification can positively impact quality of life and work for clinical staff, specifically in a radiation oncology department. Doctor badges seem to have a neutral to positive effect in our department, so we didn't see overt negative impacts of these badges. Badges for all clinical roles rather than just doctor only may be of value. And since the study was completed, they have become more widely available in our department for non-physician roles such as nurses, nurse practitioners, physician assistant, et cetera, but they're still not available for all roles like radiation therapists, and we don't currently have the ability to develop those and print them out ourselves. Other interventions to improve staff role identification are also being explored, such as scrub color, which came out as an issue in the comments on our study. So it's led to a number of different conversations about this issue. So with that, I'll open it up to questions and answers. Thanks everyone for your attention.